Hello and welcome to Wine Festival Online. Thanks for tuning in.
We are Susie and Peter, we're Masters of Wine and we are co-founders of Wine Festival Winchester, which is now, of course, Wine Festival Online.
Now, coming up, we have going to introduce the Cellier de Dauphins masterclass led by the Wine Tipster Neil Phillips in conversation with Laurent Paré, the chief winemaker at Cellier de Dauphins, which from the video seems to be a job that Neil really quite wants to have.
It is, and I think we're loving Neil's colourful shirt. Maybe that's a sort of an interview shirt. He's thinking maybe I can get the job if I wear a decent shirt. And Laurent's sexy French voice. Oh, nice.
Yeah, all right, calm down. We're okay. There is a good use of online sort of a visual sort of virtual map and a pyramid graphic to explain.
Always good to have a pyramid.
I don't really know what a pyramid graphic is. I'm just sort of making this up to sound clever. But it explains the sort of quality levels and therefore what happens on the labels of Côte de Rhône wine, because we're talking about Rhône wines here, which is really quite helpful.
Yeah, no, that's not the most important bit. The most important bit, though, is that these guys don't actually get round to tasting their, one of them's French, they do this nice and slowly in their own time. They don't get around to tasting until about 10 minutes into the masterclass. So we'd advise that you get your wines open now and just start tasting anyway.
Yeah.
Start with the white. I think you've got a white.
Absolutely. So tasting order is the white, Côte de Rhône red, Côte de Rhône Village red, and then the last wine you won't have, it's the Reserve, which isn't yet on the market.
No.
But just to flag up, you can win 3 bottles of that Reserve red if you take part and win our tasting selfie competition. There's details on the website, but basically we want you to take a photo of yourselves tasting along to Wine Festival Online, send it in to us, tag us, follow us. What else is it? Tag 2 friends as well.
No idea. Tag anybody you like.
And you could win 3 bottles of this wine, which is not yet in the UK market. So it's a total exclusive, well worth playing for, I think.
Yeah.
What else to mention?
Listen, we'd like to thank our sponsors, particularly our headline sponsor, Rathbones. We'd like to thank you for joining in. If you have any problems at all with watching this video or any of the videos today, just email hello@thewinefestival.co.uk, or you can contact us via social, which all the details are on our website.
Absolutely. Now, this masterclass will, of course, stay live after the event, so you can replay it, catch up. And of course, there's another masterclass coming up immediately afterwards too. One other thing we'd say is do buy these wines. We're coming up to the festive period. We always need wines. We're all thirsty. Buy.
Absolutely. So now we hope you enjoy the Cellier de Dauphins masterclass, and we'll leave you in the capable hands of Neil. Is it Neil?
It is Neil.
Neil and Laurent.
Hello everybody, it's the Winchester Wine Festival. We're delighted to be here. I'm Neil Phillips, the Wine Tipster. I'm a wine and horse racing expert, and I'm delighted to say joining us today we have the wonderful Laurent Paré, who's got a great job title, Chief Winemaker at Cellier de Dauphins. Laurent, it's great to have you on. How are you doing?
Hi Neil, really happy to join you for a little chat and to present our wine. So thanks for having me.
Wow, it's great. It's great to have you on. Well, it's great to be involved with the Winchester Wine Festival. And what we're going to do is just do some background about Cellier de Dauphins, where you are in the Southern Rhône, and also just a bit of general background and education for everybody in terms of the different categories for the Rhône wines, and also exactly where you are and where you're based as well, in a very sunny part of southern France, which is lovely. But I think it's great to point out to everybody in terms of Cellier de Dauphins. You're in Toulette, northeast of Avignon. We'll have a look in a minute on the map there about that. But also, Cellier de Dauphins is the largest producer of Côte de Rhône wines. You've got 12,500 hectares. And what I really like as well is you've got 2,300 wine growers. So it's very much of a cooperative piece here, which I think is really important. I'm a massive fan of co-ops, and it's not only in the Southern Rhône you find this, but throughout France as well. And I think it's great, really, that it gives a chance for everybody to be involved with your business too. So that is fantastic. And you're just in a minute, what we're going to do is we're going to taste some wines a bit later on, folks. Hopefully you've got some wonderful bottles of Les Dauphins, Cellier de Dauphins at home as well to taste with us and join us, because 3 of the 4 wines we're going to taste are easy to get hold of in our supermarkets in the UK. And for everybody as well, social media folks, come on, Instagram wise, Cellier de Dauphin. On Twitter, Cellier Dauphin, and also on Facebook, Cellier de Dauphin. And we'll repeat those at the end as well. So, you know, Laurent, just in terms of your job title as well. I mean, people say, "Hey, chief winemaker." I mean, what's a typical day for you, really? We're all envious.
The core of my activities, you know, is to taste. So it's pretty delightful. So
pretty delightful. I love it.
Pretty much all day long, from the morning and especially during vintage, for sure. So we just finished the 2020 vintage here in
fantastic.
Rhône Valley. So my journey was mainly to visit the vine growers and the different place to taste the wine where they produce. So making some blends as well. But
well,
also,
sorry, we're going to talk about blends in a minute as well, importantly, because it's a very important part of wines produced in the Southern Rhône, isn't it, really? But yeah, I mean, you know, and in terms of the harvest as well, obviously 2020 has been good for you.
Yeah, 2020 was exceptionally early. So we start harvesting end of August this year, which is pretty rare. So we had the chance to have a really dry summer. So grapes were really healthy, and harvest conditions were really good without rain, which is important when you bring the grapes to the winery to transform it in wine. So we had good conditions for whites and rosé, and also we had some tiny rains during September.
Yes.
Who allows the red grapes, and especially Syrah and Grenache, to ripe nicely. You know, after quite a warm and dry summer, the little rains allowed the grapes to ripe correctly and make really fruity and really deep color wines, and it's what we're looking for.
I mean, that's great, and it's interesting that, you know, you've got 34, I think I'm right in saying, in terms of 34 permitted grape varieties, and very much in where people will see sometimes, you know, a grape variety on a wine label. Very much for yourself, it's about blending, and, you know, particularly you're talking about Grenache and Syrah, and with the whites, Grenache Blanc, Viognier, Marsanne Roussanne. And what we're going to do is just share a couple of slides with everybody here, because it's really, I think it's really important background, this, and for everybody just to have a look here, for example, and just see here in terms of the pyramid, maybe in terms of just so everybody gets a bit of understanding here. Just quickly, I mean, in terms of AOC and Côte de Rhône, just quickly talk us through the pyramid, Laurent.
So the pyramid, so the base is made from AOC. It's a AOC Côte du Rhône. So we have the three colors: white, rosé, and red, for sure.
Okay.
And on top of that, we have the AOC Village. So AOC Village is more of a selection of terroir and special places.
Okay.
The yield are lower in village. After, on top of that, you have the name of village, but with the single name of the village. So it's a really small area. Like sometimes it's a small village of 1,000 persons, and around there is some vineyards. And so the surface are really small. And on top of that, you have for sure the cru, where you can find Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Vaquera, Gigondas, Vinsorbres, and Queyranne, and others. So cru, it's really more, there is more regulations, there is more rules, and the yield are really low, really lower than Côte du Rhône. So that's why the quality, it's higher as well.
And that's you know, great to hear, and it's good to understand the pyramid here, but also just for everybody watching here in terms of AOC, what does that mean?
AOC, it's appellation d'origine contrôlée.
Okay.
It's a control or regulated production area, I would say, appellation.
Okay, and you have a very big appellation control, don't you, in terms of?
It's pretty big, with 2,300 wine growers.
Yes.
So you show the map
Yes.
So our main area is really north of Avignon, but I will say more north of Orange.
Okay.
Orange in the middle.
Yes.
And you can see the name of some cru like Châteauneuf-du-Pape. You can see
Yes.
Queyranne, you can see Vincent, etc. And some village as well, like Plan de Dieu, Sainte-Cécile, Saint-Maurice as well. Primera is wine made from this village.
Yes.
And on top of that, there is a bigger area. It's called Côte du Rhône, which is really, really bigger. You can see it on gray, a pale gray.
Yes. We call this area up here the pale gray.
And our area of production is really between the Rhône River on the left.
Yes.
And on the right, you have the Alps, so the mountain of the Alps. So some of our vineyards are quite in altitude.
Yes.
So there is some height. And it's where we make the selection of our white and rosé, because naturally, when you're higher, the temperature are lower, and that's why you keep some freshness.
Exactly.
And also the difference of temperature between day and night are bigger. And this phenomenon allows the grapes to build more aromatics, especially for whites and rosé. You know, for whites and rosé, you're looking for freshness, you're looking for aromatic. And this higher vineyard allows us to make it.
And that's a really important point, because we're going to move on to taste our first wine, which is a white from the Côte d'Or. And I think it's important to point out, I mean, production of white wine is about 10%, isn't it? I think in terms of the Rhône Valley, something like that, 10% for whites and maybe 15% rosé.
Roughly something like 10%.
Yeah.
Red is for sure. It's well known for red, the Rhône Valley, with the GSM blend, Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre. Whites is around 10%. You can have something like 15% of rosé and 75% of red.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is, obviously, you've got the Rhône running right through there, Avignon, and then you're moving down to the Mediterranean. You've got Marseille there as well.
Yes, Marseille is not far. We 1 hour drive from Marseille.
Yeah. So it gives an idea for everybody watching today in terms of scale. Let's move on to taste our first wine here, because you've talked about wine, the whites and aroma here. And what we have is, we're starting off with 2019. We're just talking about 2020 there, but we've got these lovely fresh whites here. And this is the Cellier de Dauphin Les Dauphins white, which you can get in Tesco and Asda. Costs £8. And Laurent, just in terms of, we mentioned about blends, this is a blend, isn't it?
Yes, thanks for speaking about that. We have the chance here in Rhône Valley to have a few grape varietals, and we have the chance to be able to blend. You know, to bring more complexity, to bring more diversity. That's one of our richness as well. Diversity and complexity made from grapes. So the choice we made on this white is to blend some Grenache Blanc,
yes,
which is one of the most common varietals here. But also we decide to bring some Viognier. You know, Viognier brings more richness, more concentration, more ripeness as well. Grenache is more on the crispy side, and Viognier will be more on the ripe and mature side. Yeah.
Well, let's. I mean, it's lovely, isn't it? This wine is incredible value. I really do. I think for all this freshness you get, the crispness as well.
So really aromatic on the nose and on the mouth, really crispy, really fresh, but still lots of aromatic as well. Yeah. Viognier brings lots of persistency. You know, it's a really, really long wine and really nice. You can pair with lots of product at the aperitifs for sure. You know, kind of chilled, cold. But also you can pair it with like lots of salad or white meat as well.
Yes. It's lovely, isn't it? I mean, it's really versatile. I agree with you about as an aperitif as well. And just to say as well, Laurent, just in terms of the wines as well, in terms of vegan and vegetarian. So if someone's vegan or vegetarian, the wines are vegan and vegetarian friendly, aren't
Oh
they?
yeah. It's suitable for vegan for sure. We don't use any kind of product from animal origin.
Yeah.
So it's suitable for vegetarian and vegan people. Yeah.
So let's just move on to our first red, because we have the Les Dauphins Côte de Rhône 2019 here, £8,
Yes.
at Tesco and Asda, and just in terms of the Southern Rhône, which is where Cellier de Dauphin is, 95% of total Rhône wine production is the Southern Rhône and 5% the Northern Rhône. So this is again talking about freshness. This is again a very fresh style, isn't it?
So you're speaking about the red, so Cellier de
Yes.
Dauphin,
Yes.
Côte du Rhône. So
Yes. Exactly this wine here.
it's a blend. It's a blend made from the two big main varietals. So Grenache Noir, it's really the king of the south of Rhône Valley. But also we choose to put some Syrah, a pretty big amount, like we around 20% of Syrah.
Okay.
So Grenache is always spicy and fruity, and the Syrah will bring the tension and the freshness and the aromatic as well.
Yeah.
So we really have dark red fruit.
Yeah.
Like blackberry, black currant as well.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of spiciness.
Yes.
You find some pepper as well, black pepper.
Yes. Very much so.
So pepper brings freshness. So you have the fruitiness, but you have also the freshness bring by the spice.
Mm-hmm.
And also because of the sun we have, it's a region where we have around 300 days of sun.
Wow.
So yeah, it's amazing. So we have lots of sun. We have also the wind, the Mistral. So we pretty much have always healthy grapes, but also we have natural ripeness. So never we have harsh tannin. It's always smooth tannin, lots of mouthfeel, like really tasty, really tasty, like the fruitiness of the fruit.
And this is a wine you could drink on its own, but also again.
Oh yeah, definitely for those who prefer to drink reds like with a piece of chocolate or just before the dinner.
Yeah.
But it's still very versatile to pair it with food. With a nice piece of white meat like a filet mignon, but also red meat.
I agree.
You can have a nice piece of steak.
Yeah, I agree.
But also with a salad, tannin are smooth.
Yes.
So you can have it with a salad or vegetable. That's really easy to pair.
I mean, if you had some slow cooked beef, it'd be fantastic with this wine. It'd be really nice. And the tannins, as you say, are really low, which is what you pick on the sides typically. And again, I think that's terrific value, folks. And hopefully some of you have actually already gone out and got the wines. You're joining us and actually you've enjoyed the white and the red we've tasted so far. We're going to taste another red now, which is the Côte de Rhône Village 2019, which I'm just going to hold up there.
Yeah.
And Laurent, what's the difference here in terms of the Côte de Rhône red we've just tasted and the Village we're going to just taste in a few minutes' time?
So Côte de Rhône and Village, the main selection is, the main difference is made by the location of the vineyard.
Okay.
So most of the Village vineyard will be on slope vineyard.
Yeah. Okay.
Like slopy.
Yeah.
So that also allows the wine to concentrate a bit more because the soils are a bit poorer.
Yes.
You have less food for the vines. So naturally, the vine it's a plant who like to suffer.
Yes.
In a certain way. In a certain way.
Yeah.
But also the Village has most of them as old vines. So the vines is able to pump the water which is available in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
so they're pretty balanced.
Yeah.
But the yield are lower than Côte du Rhône. So naturally, you're going to have more concentration, and it's what we're looking for, more concentration.
And just blend wise, is this in terms of the Grenache and Syrah?
But it's pretty much the same type of varietals, but we have a bigger proportion of Mourvèdre as well.
Okay.
So Village has more whole grapes of Mourvèdre.
Okay.
You can also find some Old Carignan. That's some other grapes you can find in Village. So it's pretty interesting in the blend as well to use Carignan and Mourvèdre. You know, Mourvèdre and Carignan will bring more spiciness as well.
Let's have a smell.
So the color also is deeper.
Yes.
You have more color. You have more concentration, more tannin as well.
Yeah.
And wine are more complex. They are more deep as well. So we still have the complexity and the ripeness, but with a bit more structure, a bit more deepness and complexity. So that's what makes the difference between a Côte du Rhône and a Village.
And I'm just thinking you could have this like a sort of vegetarian roast dish or something like that. Big, you know, it's got the intensity to match up there, but also other meat dishes as well. Couldn't you easily here? Like
I used to go in Cornwall quite often.
Okay.
I've got family in Cornwall close to, but it's in Craftall, the city, so it's not far from Tor Point.
Mm-hmm.
And the auntie there, she make often a roast dinner, and I really love this time when she makes the roast, like with lots of vegetable, and we can add some gravy sauce, and I think that
we need it now. We need it now, Laurent.
Yeah, is it cold in England today?
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold, and everybody's thinking now about having the Côte du Rhône, you know, with some roast here. It'd be fantastic. Yeah. I agree with you. Okay, we also have a wine here, just to finish off with here. We've had 3 wines so far, which are easily available in the UK, but we just wanted to talk about a wine that's not yet available in the UK, but will be coming soon, I'm sure. It is the Cellier de Dauphin Reserve Côte du Rhône 2018. Yes. And just to touch on that, so here, what is the difference here, say, to the previous 2 reds we've tasted?
So when we decided, also the first year when I arrived in my position, I said, okay, right, I think we have the potential to make a wine with more smoothness, with more aromatic, and with more fruitness as well. So we decided to make a specific selection of Grenache and Syrah in our vineyard. So the riper vineyard, and with the more concentrated grapes, we decided to select them and to make a special cuvée that we call Reserve.
Okay.
With a specific type of vinification as well. So harvesting the grapes at the full maturity, but not too much alcohol as well. So we are around 13.5, 14 degrees. So not too high, but enough to have the right maturity. Having always in mind to keep the freshness as well.
Sure.
And our goal was to keep this Rhône style, because it's our ADN, DNA. It's our DNA, yes. You know, the Rhône style, yeah. The fruitness, the spiciness, and bringing a touch of modernity. So with more flavors of spice, of vanilla as well. Mm. So bringing more spice. And in 2018, we had the chance to have a fantastic notation mark from a decanter.
Yes,
so
which is a very sorry, Laurent, but it's very important in terms of Decanter Wine Awards. It's a very prestigious wine competition, which is great.
Oh yeah, we were really happy to receive this platinum medal, but we were surprised first, and finally realized, okay, no, that's really a good wine. So we were really happy to receive the medal, and it's a really easy drinking wine, but with lots of concentration, lots of deepness, lots of ripeness, and full of aroma, really smooth, really delicate as well, really velvety wine.
I agree, and the length of finish is lovely too. Length of flavor is really super here. I mean, again, I food-wise, what would you like to have here? I mean, we've just talked about that fantastic roast. It's got everybody going.
Yeah, for sure, but it's also, you can drink it as the aperitif because it's really smooth, low tannin, really round, really fruity.
An actual fact, last year, the 2019 Winchester Wine Festival, for those of you who came along, you actually had a chance to taste this wine. You had a sneak preview because I know this wine was featured then. So I hope you enjoyed it. So some of you would have actually tasted this wine, but look out for this wine, but also look out obviously for the 3 wines we've already featured here as well. And in terms of, just to recap as well, I mean, I love this white, the Cellier de les Dauphins, Côte de Rhône Blanc, 2019, super fresh. You'll start to see those in the stores. So the 2018's there as well. And that's just fantastic value in terms of Asda and Tesco there. And then we also had as well, in terms of the Les Dauphins, the red as well, which we were talking about as an aperitif style, but also great with food. And then you moved on to the Village, which you were talking about, you're going to Cornwall. Everybody's Lauren, you're off to Cornwall there, having a roast there with this wonderful Côte de Rhône Village 2019 from Cellier de Dauphin. And I think, it's been a Waitrose for years. It's done so well. And then some of you have tried this wine, from those of you at the Winchester Wine Festival last year, but we love this reserve. And I agree. I mean, it's great on its own. The finish is brilliant. The finish is absolutely stunning there. And just remember, everybody, that in terms of social media, please, you can track down on Instagram Cellier de Dauphin, on Facebook Cellier de Dauphin as well, and on Twitter Cellier Dauphin. And what we just wanted to do was actually say a big thank you as well to Laurent Paré, Chief Winemaker. I love this job title. Loads of people want to have this job title. Cellier de Dauphin. But Laurent, thank you very much indeed. It's been great. It's great to understand the background as well, in terms of in terms of this wonderful part of France you work in, the beautiful wines, but what's the background behind each of the wines as well, and the way everything works in terms of the whole cooperative piece as well. I think it's fantastic. So I think we should just raise a glass, Laurent, and just wish everybody at Winchester Wine Festival have a great time, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you're going to enjoy buying the wine. Some of you would have done already as well, and would be joining in. We know that. And cheers. Thanks very much, Laurent.
Thanks for having me, Neil. Okay.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure.